The sterile hum of the examination chamber on the orbiting Kian medical frigate was broken by the sharp hiss of a pressurized airlock. Dren Lov, the ship's chief medic, turned as a human stumbled into the room, his arm hanging at an unnatural angle. A deep crimson streak followed him, pooling ominously on the pristine floor. "Please tell me someone has bandages," the human muttered. Despite the obvious pain, his voice carried a disturbingly casual tone. Dren's tendrils twitched in alarm. They had studied humans extensively. Papers, hollow records, even simulations, but nothing had prepared them for a live encounter. The human's arm was a disaster. Torn flesh revealed layers of glistening muscle, and blood pulsed rhythmically from the gaping wound. Such an injury would incapacitate most known species, yet the human seemed unervingly unbothered. "Restraint field," Dren barked, signaling their assistance. The translucent green medics buzzed into action, prepping equipment. The human frowned, tilting his head. "Restraints? Seems a bit much, don't you think? It's just a scratch." Dren's tendrils stiffened. "Just a scratch? You are exsanguinating. Sit down before." "It's fine, really," the human interrupted, slumping into the diagnostic chair with a weary grin. "Happens all the time. One time, I had a nail jammed all the way through my—" "Silence!" Dren snapped, gesturing frantically for the assistants to act faster. "This is critical. Begin immediate hematic protocols. Sedation, vascular regeneration." Whoa! "No sedation," the human interrupted again, raising his uninjured hand. "Just patch me a quick document. I've got a solar flare situation to deal with." Dren reeled, their frills flaring. "You have nearly severed your limb. Such a condition would incapacitate a Zoran war beast for months." "Well, good thing I'm not a Zoran war beast," the human quipped. "Name's Callum, by the way. Nice to meet you." Dren struggled to process this bafflingly casual response. "Callum," they said, attempting to regain composure, "if you do not allow us to stabilize this injury, you will go into hypovolemic shock and perish." Callum grinned. "Been there, didn't perish. Though you've probably got about 5 minutes before I faint, so maybe hurry it up." Dren's assistants activated a containment field around the wound, their tools humming to life. Callum watched them work, wincing occasionally, but remaining oddly calm. "Does this not cause you pain?" Dren asked, incredulous. "Oh, it hurts like hell," Callum admitted, his voice betraying a faint cheerfulness. "But pain's just pain. You deal with it." Dren leaned back, momentarily stunned. Pain was a universal signal of distress, yet Callum spoke of it like an inconvenient itch. As the medical team worked, he began recounting past injuries with alarming nonchalance. "There was this one time on Alt-Rain V," he said, his voice slightly slurred as blood loss took its toll. "Got a plasma burn right across my thigh. Stung like crazy, but I patched it with some adhesive foam and finished the mission. No biggie." "No biggie?" Dren repeated faintly. "Do all humans disregard their mortality so flippantly?" Callum chuckled. "Nah, some of us are really careful. I just don't have the time for it." The containment field sealed the wound with a faint hum, and the assistants began knitting tissues together with advanced bioresin. Callum barely flinched, his focus shifting to the ceiling lights. "You ever notice how these look like old Earth Street lamps?" "No, just me." You are in critical condition, and you're remarking on light fixtures? Dren nearly shrieked. Callum shrugged. Keeps me distracted. Besides, you're doing great. Almost done, right? The assistants chirped affirmatively, but Dren wasn't reassured. Callum's vitals were dangerously low, yet his demeanor remained infuriatingly casual. Before Dren could insist on further treatment, Callum tried to stand, swaying precariously. Like I said, solar flare. Gotta go. You will not leave this chamber, Dren declared, physically blocking him. If you leave in this condition, you will collapse within minutes. Callum looked up at Dren, his expression caught between irritation and gratitude. Doc, I appreciate your concern, but humans are tougher than you think. Toughness is not a substitute for blood volume. Dren snapped, their frustration mounting. Before Callum could respond, his communicator crackled to life. Callum, status? We need you back here now. Almost ready, Callum replied, ignoring Dren's glare. Just patching up a scratch. Scratch, Dren hissed. What kind of species considers this catastrophic injury a mere scratch? Callum grinned weakly, testing his freshly repaired arm. The bioresin held firm, though bruising surrounded the area. Feels fine. Little sore, but I'll live. Living is precisely what you jeopardize by leaving. Dren roared, their tendrils quivering in agitation. Callum waved off their concerns, but his communicator crackled again. This time, Dren moved swiftly, activating the chamber's comm scrambler. Callum blinked in surprise. Did you just jam my signal? Indeed, Dren replied, their voice sharp. You have forfeited your right to independent communication by proving yourself incapable of rational self-preservation. Callum leaned back, eyebrows raised. That's intense. Intense measures are warranted for patients who lack basic survival instincts. Dren shot back. Despite their protests, Callum's condition began stabilizing. His vitals improved, though his defiant attitude remained. The assistants let out soft whistles of relief, and Dren finally allowed a measure of calm to return. Your condition is no longer critical, Dren said, their tone clipped. But you remain under observation until recovery is assured. Callum gave a tired thumbs up. See? Told you I'd be fine. Fine! Dren's frills twitched in disbelief. You were minutes from death. Your capacity for understatement is a coping mechanism. Pretty much, Callum replied with a faint grin. Keeps things light, you know. Dren stared at him, equal parts exasperated and intrigued. What kind of creature treated mortal injuries like mild inconveniences? They doubted they'd ever fully understand humans. Yet, as Callum prepared to leave despite their protests, a strange sense of respect lingered. Humans were reckless, maddening, and impossibly resilient. And perhaps, Dren thought, that was worth studying further.